If you followed ArtandObject over the last 18 or 19 years, you will have noticed the important role that private collections have played in our business. We've sought to really emphasise and elevate the significance of provenance and history, and we've been completely and utterly blessed with some of the most fabulous private collections in New Zealand art. If you think of the Leigh Melville Paris collection, the Lois Going collection, the Tim and Sheana Francis collection, and even more recently this year we had Mrkursich collection of New Zealand photographs with a special emphasis on the photography of Peter Perrier. These are collections which told stories about our collective New Zealand cultural history and identity, who we are and what surrounds us. And we've got another absolutely very special, and this time a distinctly Auckland collection, the John and Sheana Gellert collection. With a lot of those collections, as I say, what interests us particularly, and I think what also interests the marketplace, is the relationships and the history which surround them. And behind every great collection, I think, is a pivotal relationship with a New Zealand art dealer. So when you look at the Leigh Melville Paris collection and the Tim and Sheana Francis collection, you have that key figure of Peter McLeavy right in the centre of it. With the Lois Going collection, you have the Auckland art dealer John Gow right in the centre of it from Gow Langsford. And more latterly, with even the Grant Kerr collection, you have the figure of Marshall Seifert, that key New Zealand art dealer and photography lover in there behind it as well. Here, we have a distinctly different flavour to this collection, and a no less important one. Now, what's particularly significant about this collection is a number of things which are really significant about John and Sheena's collection, but one of them, I think, is, well, firstly, the way they collect artists in depth. So there's 3 or 4 artists that figure so prominently within the collection with multiple important examples. You've got Milan Mrkursich, Gordon Walters, Ian Scott, Richard Killeen, Jeff Thornley, Mervyn Williams, all represented by several significant examples. At the heart of the collection, where it all begins, where it has its genesis and where it has its oomph and its power as a collection, I think, is in John Gellert's formative years of visiting Peter James Gallery. John and Sheana Gellert collection is truly the collection of a couple. A couple with a family built up over many, many, many decades, some 4 or 5 decades. It begins with John Gellert's career as a barrister in Auckland. Where John Gellert's practicing at the time is in Shortland Street. And downstairs in 1972, 2 young brothers, Peter and James Vuletic, begin Peter James Gallery. Now, this is not just any ordinary gallery. This is a gallery with a set of strict confines about who can exhibit. It's a distinctly internationalist gallery. It's a gallery which stands in opposition to what they see as the mainstream New Zealand art history at that point in time. And art and an art history focused on the local and focused on the landscape. Peter James Gallery opened in 1972 and it only lasted 4 or 5 years. Peter Vuletic would carry on to be quite a central figure in New Zealand art history, collecting and consulting and curating for prominent public collections such as the Fletcher collection. But the actual gallery as such would only exist for a few years. But in that few years, it would hold definitive shows by Gordon Walters, Stephen Banbury, Ian Scott, and Richard Killeen, to name but a few, all of whom feature prominently in the Gellert collection. Now, I think it was Milan Mrkursich who said something along the lines of, if you're interested in landscape, why don't you go for a drive? So what you get almost is a gallery built around that philosophy, that dictum, that it's about painting. It's painting as object, as self-sustaining, legitimate object that exists on its own, that bears little or no resemblance to the outside world, supposedly. And we have behind us 3 examples of artists who all exhibited at Peter James Gallery. Behind me directly is one of Ian Scott's iconic lattice paintings. Most of the works from this series built on the diagonal lattice form. This one with this more hexagonal base form, but an absolutely crucial work from the late 1970s. Milan Mrkursich's Painting Red, one of his masterpieces really from his absolutely phenomenal series of corner paintings. And then on the far right, one of Gordon Walters' iconic Koru paintings, painting from 1981. And 3 absolutely beautiful examples of a wonderful type of New Zealand formalism and abstraction, which is at the heart of the Gellert collection.